Hello and welcome to anyone and everyone who's decided to watch this video. Today, we are returning to the world of G.I.Joe Classified with a little double set of ATVs here with the Cobra Ferret and its very popular repaint, the Tiger Force Tiger Paw, and of course their drivers of Ferret Driver and Sabertooth. I just figured since these two releases were so close to one another, why not do them both in one video to show them side by side and talk about this very fun vehicle, maybe the best vehicle that Classified has done so far. Maybe I'm just a little biased because I am a big fan of ATVs myself, but first off we'll put the Joe one in the back for a little bit and just take a look at the Cobra Ferret. And it is in the traditional Cobra blue with the red weapons and everything, and it is just looking very nice here. It of course has the missiles coming off the steps, which kind of hard to get on your ATV when you got this big rig on the side, but who cares? It looks cool. Also, what direction do these missiles fire in? Who cares? It's all about looking cool. And you got big, nice, chunky tires with big old springs on them. Definitely good for movement here. And bouncing around. You got the little turret on the front that can rotate and articulate up and down. You can rotate the steering wedge. That's pretty fun. Got some nice silver paint in there for the engine. And tons of decals all around the thing. Got a big old cage on the back and the exhaust pipes. More detail, more springy wheels. Those very, very fun looking, well painted toy. There's a little radar screen there on the front. And it's just a fun, it's a nice big chunky vehicle to roll around on, and I definitely like playing around with it. And yeah, I always expected the Ferret to appear in Classified since it's a smaller vehicle. Although it's not so small now, they kind of blew it up a lot. And yeah, in a lot of ways it almost feels maybe a little too big. Like, there probably are ATVs this big compared to people, but none of the ones I've seen are this big. But I do just like it. I think it's nice and solid and chunky, and I've just been having a lot of fun with it. And let's take a look at the driver here. And she is, of course, a repaint of the Cobra Valkyries, aka the female Cobra Troopers, done up in a nice bright gray to kind of reflect the upcoming Stinger Driver / the vintage Stinger Driver. But she's looking really good here. She's also got the blue added onto her boots and knee pads and the arm things, as well as her new chest armor. And I like that detail to give her some personality. It feels very motocross, very fitting, plus her fun new helmet that's got the snake fangs, because gotta have that Cobra branding, although this looks a lot like a duckbill. Just feels like a secret Duckula cosplay going on right here. And there are her eyes, very well painted here, brown eyebrows, and underneath is just a standard Cobra Valkyrie head. There we go, just in gray instead of blue. So there we go. And she's a very fun figure. She's got her little pistols on her hip and her butt, and she's never really going to use them because she's always going to be riding around on her ATV here. And yeah, now let's pull up the Tiger Force one really quick here. And it's in the traditional white, orange, yellow fade. Looking very good here. The white is very bright, very powdery on this one. I didn't think it would come out this powdery, but at the same time I wasn't thinking too much about what this was going to look like. I mean, I knew it was inevitable, and it was announced really quick. So, yeah. But I do like it, and obviously good juxtaposition to the first release. So, obviously it's a smart idea for a repaint. You gotta have your repaints always looking different than your originals. So, very nice touch here. It's got the bright yellow rims. Basically the same printing on the tires. And of course it's got the Tiger Force shark mouth and eyes on the front. It's a little weird having it on the like this. That's a little bizarre to me, but I just feels like it has two mouths instead of one. I don't know if it's conveying this image as good as it could be, but it's Tiger Force. They gotta have their big mouths like this. You can see it's got stripes here underneath the leg of the driver. In fact, we'll just take him off for a bit, and we'll talk about him later. Get in there, look at those stripings, and we can see in here past the gun, there's the Tiger Force emblem and a little tattered American flag. On the other side, we got G.I. Joe, and I guess I forgot to talk about the big cannon. And yeah, this mounts on the side. Well, it can mount wherever, on whichever bar you want it to be, and it can go back and forth, it can rotate. And on my Tiger Paw, it's a little warped. On the Ferret, it's nice, fine, and straight, but for this one, it came in a little warped. Oh well. I can just keep that folded in the background. What are you gonna do? And for this one, for the driver, we got Wreckage. And for those who do not know the history of Wreckage, there was a canceled Tiger Force figure back in the day that was going to be called Sabretooth, which would have been a brand new character repainted from the mold of Firefly. But then in the 2000s, they brought that concept back, but they were worried about using the Sabretooth name since they had just acquired the license to Marvel, and that was one of their characters. So they changed it to Wreckage, and they also changed the color scheme to be this more muted colorway. And honestly, I like this a lot more than that original Sabretooth concept. I actually think Wreckage is a much improved version of that idea. And yeah, I'm into it. And one thing they added for this version was they gave him a steel core helmet. That is becoming a very common addition with our Joes to help us create our armies so we can buy multiples and create generics. I'm not going to do that, but you can if you want to. He does have some kill marks on there, and he's got the Tiger Force mouth snarling on there, and that's a very fun look. And as you can kind of tell, it is very loose on his Firefly looking face, and we can see he's got this nice brown balaclava, and he's got basically the sharp-toothed mouth printed on the front of it to give it more personality, plus to homage that original Sabretooth identity. And, you know, that's pretty fun. I wish they could have painted the eyes differently. I don't know how similar that is to Firefly, because I never got this second iteration of Firefly where he's more classic looking, because I liked the first one. And I saw the second one and was like, well, they'll give us a Wreckage probably, so I'll just wait for that. But, yeah, he still has a bit too much of that crazy feel, which I think painting the eyes differently could have probably fixed that. And, yeah, But he does look pretty good and he handles pretty well. He's definitely a fun mold. I understand why people who love Firefly would have wanted to get a new one, even though I think that first Firefly was pretty good and was all I needed for a Firefly. For accessories, he's got a knife stored in here, and just put that back in. There's a pistol on his leg that actually kind of gets stuck in there. There's the pistol. Oh, it's been warping at the barrel a little bit, keeping it in there. And on the backpack, he's got 2 little mines and his other gun, whatever you call this gun, that he can hold in his hand and have it ready for shooting up cobras or doing his own sabotaging, just like the Firefly he is repainted from. Oh, and he also came with this tiny little thing. I don't really know what it is, and it doesn't store anywhere on him, so I'm just gonna go put it away now while the train horns blare loudly. Yeah, so they're the 2 figures. They're both really good figures in their own rights. They go for very different gimmick styles, obviously visual tones to match with their vehicles. They both go their own ways. I think they're pretty even in terms of their quality. Some people might say Wreckage is better because he has more accessories and stuff, but I don't know. I don't inherently think that makes the toy better, but I definitely like both these molds really well. I think they're both great figures in their own right, regardless of their vehicles, and they come with some pretty great vehicles. And yeah, if I had to pick one, I think I actually do like the Ferret a little bit better, even though I think both of them are pretty great. But that said, we will bring the Ferret out of the way for a little bit because I want to just do a quick little group shot of all of the Tiger Force we have gotten so far in the classified line, with first off the other Tiger Force vehicle being the Tiger Ram with Duke. And let's actually see how the steel core helmet looks on him, because some people might want to use this on Duke to make him into a generic if they have one of the other Duke releases. For me, I think my Tiger Force Duke is probably going to become my main Duke, but actually this does look really good. Maybe I will play him up as a steel core, and I think it's fitting a little bit better. Great. And it kind of fits a little bit better on him than Wreckage. It's still a bit loose, but it's definitely fitting a little bit better. So the Tiger Ram with Duke back there. We'll bring in Dusty here to put next to Wreckage. Bring in Bazooka. Then Recondo here. Get him in here between Dusty and Duke, if he'll stand. And now Dusty is knocked over, so come on, Dusty. Come on, Dusty. And lastly, but not least, the man, the myth, the legend, Tiger Force Outback. And put him in there. And look at that. Look at how far the Tiger Force has grown. And we're obviously getting more with time. We're getting the 2-pack of Roadblock and Tripwire, which admittedly, as much as I love Tiger Force, I'm going to skip that 2-pack just because I don't need them. I already have those characters. I don't need more. But I do hope we get to see other releases of the Tiger Force in the future. Just get so many more. I really just want Lifeline. Honestly, Lifeline's my favorite Joe, and he's in Tiger Force. So if this Tiger Force subline is how we get him into Classified, I'll be really happy with that. But that's enough about these guys. Yeah, so that's about it for these two 4x4s here. I'm really pleased with them. They're very fun toys for the G.I. Joe Classified line, as basically all of G.I. Joe Classified is, because it's just such a great toy line. I think both of them are pretty worth it. They're obviously the same vehicle. The only difference is, of course, the drivers. But something about the ferret I like a little bit better, but the Tiger Paw definitely still really good in my books. Honestly, I would probably consider this the best vehicle in Classified so far. Better than the Ram, better than the Coil, the Vamp, the Trouble Bubble, even maybe better than the His Tank HasLab. And I'm not even getting the Dragonfly or Rattler HasLabs, so I can't compare this to those when they start coming in hand. But hey, whatever. I got these two right here, and honestly, they're good enough for me, and maybe you'll have fun with them too. So that's about it. I think I've rambled on enough here. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys around.